Hi guys, welcome back to the Frugal Life with Mercedes. I'm going to make a really quick video. I'm not really sure how long it's going to be, but it's going to be short. And I wanted to show you guys some hacks that I do. I do a lot of baking. And when I say baking, I mean like box cake mixes. I get them a lot from the food pantry that I volunteer at. When I was dumpster diving all the time, I found them in the dumpster a lot. And I get them when they're on sale as well. So I make a lot of cakes. So a lot of you probably know, but some of you might not, because I only figured out some of these tricks a couple of years ago, and man, I wish I would have known about them. So let's say you want to make a cake, and most cakes call for water, oil, eggs, like if you're using a box mix. Now, what if you don't have oil? What if you don't have eggs? What if you don't have eggs or oil, but you still want to make a cake? A cake is a good way, especially if you're on a budget. A cake is a good way to like have a dessert and feel like you're getting a treat, but at very minimal cost. Also, let's say you've got a potluck to go to, or a picnic, or something at your kid's school, or something along those lines, and you have a box cake mix, and maybe you don't have the money to buy eggs that week or oil, or maybe you just don't want to go to the store, or whatever your situation is. There are things you can do to still make those cake mixes with things you might have around the house. Now, something that I do is one of these items I kind of always keep on hand, just one extra of them in this situation. So I'm going to show you guys how I make cakes when you don't always have all the ingredients. So this is the cake I'm going to use. This is just a Pillsbury traditional chocolate cake mix. I got this at the Dollar Tree for $1. And then as you guys can see on the back, all you need is a cup of water, a cup of oil, and 3 eggs. Now, I have all these ingredients. However, since I am doing a pantry challenge, I just did get some eggs, so I could use 3 eggs. I have them. And I have the oil and I have the water. However, I wanted to make this video, and also because I like eating the eggs, I wanted to kind of use some of my tricks. So here is the chocolate mix. And what I am doing is I am replacing, there are my 2 eggs, but it calls for 3 eggs. So what I'm doing is I'm replacing one of the eggs with this. This is a cup of applesauce. This is just Mott's applesauce that I got from the food pantry. So I'm replacing one of the eggs with this. You could replace all 3 eggs with this. Something else that you can also use, I don't have to show you, is a banana. You could use a banana for every egg as well. But remember, the flavor is going to be a little different. The texture might be a little different, but it still tastes really good. And when I say texture, I just mean like it might not be as light and airy like if you use a banana, but you could totally mix it up. Like maybe use 1 egg, 1 banana, and some applesauce, or any variation of that. The other thing is too, which I talked about in another video, I like to use my bundt pan. I like to use this to make my cakes, and my family calls them my donut cakes. I just like the way they look. It's a little fancy, but without all the work. And they fit perfectly in my, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have like my cake holder, so it's good for like transporting. And I got this at a thrift store too. So, however, if you're making it with bananas or applesauce, sometimes they fall, so it might just be better to make a sheet cake so that it has the sides to rely on. That's just an idea. Okay, another thing that you can do, which I got a lot of questions about, is let's say you have your cake powder in here, and pretend that I don't have the applesauce. You can use a can of soda. So what you do is you pour the cake mix in, you open the soda, you pour in the soda, you lightly stir it so it's mixed in, and then you pour the batter into whatever container you're going to use. Again, if you're going to do that, you're going to want to use like a sheet pan. You're not going to want to use like a bundt cake where you're trying to pop out the cake because it's super, super moist that it doesn't really hold its shape. But it will if it's got sides. That's all you do. If you're using a can of soda, you don't need eggs, you don't need oil, you don't need water. All you need is a can of soda. I'm also showing you guys diet. I've done the cakes with regular soda. I've done them with diet soda. They're both good. Another thing you can do is you can use sparkling water. Now, of course, this is 33.8 fluid ounces, and a can of soda is only 12. So you need 12 fluid ounces. So then you would just pour the sparkling water into a measuring cup until you have the 12 ounces, which I've done that before too. So again, you could do that instead. That is also an option. So when I said that I keep something around, I usually have like a can of sparkling water for cakes, like in case I don't have eggs or something like that. I found a bunch of sparkling water, like the canned sparkling water, in a dumpster, and I personally don't like it. I think it kind of tastes bitter, but I like this kind of sparkling water. So I keep some of those cans on hand for making cakes, and they turn out really good. So now in this bowl, I have 2 eggs, the little cup of applesauce. I put in the 1 cup of water and the ½ cup of oil. And then all I'm going to do is, that's all you do, and then you just treat it like a regular cake where you stir it up and you put it into the container that you're going to use. So as you can see, it looks fine. Now granted, I only replaced 1 egg with applesauce, but it looks the same even when you use banana or applesauce or soda. So as you can see, I've got it in here. I sprayed it with some coconut cooking spray that I got from the Dollar Tree. And it's going to be all ready to go into the oven. And I need to set the timer. So I got the hot oven. I think I got to move. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put that in there. And then I got to set the timer. Okay, and the other thing that I wanted to show you guys, this is another trick that I do. So this is salted caramel frosting. Now, if you watched another video of mine, I used this to make my brother's birthday cake. And then tomorrow is my mom's birthday, and I'm meeting up with her, and I'm making her a surprise cake. So what I'm going to do, if I can get this lid off, as you can see, there is some leftover frosting. So what I do is I heat up the frosting and then I pour it over. So 1 can of frosting can make 2 cakes. Can go over the 2 cakes. It's actually easier to spread it that way, and it's a little bit cheaper because these can sometimes be expensive. Although I did get this one, I think, for $1 or 50 cents. And then these are some pink sprinkles, and these actually are from another cake that I made a while back. So I'm going to sprinkle these on top of my mom's cake as well. So that's just another trick on how to save money. Also, if you have some of these laying, let's say you've got a couple of them in your fridge, you can melt them and then drizzle them on top of the cake, and you'll have a bunch of different flavors. And I've done that before, and that's a big hit with people too. This is the cake all finished. I just pulled it out of the oven. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It's bouncy and all that. I'm going to let it cool down a little bit before I put it on a cooling rack, and then I will later transfer it onto my cake storage container, and then I will decorate it later. Okay, it's been a little while, and here is the cake. It is cooling off on this rack, and then I will put it on its pan that I'm going to decorate it on. But it's cooling down some now, and as you can see, it still looks pretty good, even though I replaced one of the eggs with the applesauce. So this is the frosting all heated up, and then all I'm going to do is pour it over top. And I've been doing it this way for years. I really don't like having to spread the frosting on. Maybe some of you guys don't mind, but I'm kind of lazy. And this works. And then it also, you can make frosting, you can frost 2 projects with it this way. So I'm going to let that cool down just a little bit. And then I'm going to put these pink sprinkles on it. And this is why I call it the donut cake. This looks like a glazed donut. And I think it looks really good. And again, this is for my mom's birthday. And I think that she will really like it. This is the finished product of the cake. As you can see, the caramel frosting has, well, it's salted caramel frosting and it has cooled. And on top, I put the pink sprinkles. As you can see, I made a mess, but it's going to taste good. And this will be good for our picnic to celebrate my mom's birthday. And I think it turned out pretty good. And this is why I call it a donut cake, because it looks like a big donut. As you guys can see, that ended up not being a very quick video. Sometimes when I'm making the videos, there's the intent that it's going to be short, but you just never know how it's all going to pan out. As you can see, that cake turned out really good. And I have another video coming out soon where I talk about the cake and the picnic that I went on using the cake, and then some other stuff I made while I was making the cake. So be on the lookout for that. And please consider subscribing to my channel. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And comment down below. Let's get to know each other. Make video requests. You can also follow me on Instagram, The Frugal Life with Mercedes. That's usually where I post pictures of my grocery hauls and stuff first. So if you want to be in the know, go ahead and join me over at Instagram, The Frugal Life with Mercedes. So thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, bye.